for those people out there who did not have that growing up, you need to be that mentor, that grandparent that you didn't have. And you need to be giving those mantras to yourself that you can do so much more than you could even imagine, and to not limit yourself by where you live or how much you have in your bank account. That's so important. But I do think that a lot of entrepreneurs who are successful, no matter what happens around them, they have that hope and that drive. You got to take action.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is a very special guest. She's had 25 plus experience with industry giants like America Online and Microsoft, and is now bringing expert authority coaching to you. Christine Blosdale, so excited to have you on. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Chris. I'm very excited to be here. Going to get into some good stuff.
You have quite the history and quite the experience throughout your journey. Can you tell us more about what you were doing before that kind of led you into what you're doing now?
Yes, I love working with entrepreneurs. I love helping them expand their brand and their message through basically elevating their expert authority. And I started back in the day with the big king or queen of online, which was America Online. And I was very blessed and lucky to get an opportunity to write for them a daily column. It was an entertainment column, and it was like one of the most popular places on AOL. And I did that for about a year and a half and absolutely loved it. Loved the freedom of it, loved the creativity, because I like to create. I'm a creator. I like to write books. I like to create video. I like to create podcasts, you name it. So I got to do a lot of creation with that character, the cartoon character that I wrote through Beatbox Betty, and just looking at the world and sort of knowing what people wanted. I always knew what people wanted and what looked good, what sounded good. I always knew that even from when I was a kid. And so working for AOL was a no-brainer and really a lot of fun. And then, of course, AOL, basically Time Warner bought them out and they got rid of all their creative writers. And then I went over to Microsoft for a bit, MSN, for a short stint. And then, of course, 9/11 happened and everything changed. I just found the work I was doing wasn't shallow because I loved doing it and it was fun. But at the same time, I didn't think it was as important as what was happening on the world stage. And so I accidentally found, as you do when you're driving in Los Angeles on the freeway, because you're always on the freeway, stuck in traffic, I found a radio station that was really unique and listened to it, and then physically drove to the station and just said how much I appreciated the work that they were doing and how they were sort of questioning things, because everybody was scared at that time. So it was really refreshing to have a different perspective. And then when I walked in, they're like, "What do you do?" I was like, "I'm a cartoon character and I write entertainment column." And I said, "You should think about volunteering and spending some time here." And I said, "I can do that?" They go, "Yeah, come on in." And so I started just writing, and then I ended up doing some producing. And then it was that story, that Hollywood story where the star broke a leg. She can't go on stage or she can't go on the camera, and you got to go on stage, kid. And I was like, "No, I do not want to go on the microphone. I'm absolutely terrified of speaking." And they're like, "No, you know this stuff. You write it already and you'll be fine." And so I had to go on, and that on-air light went on, and then something magical happened. I just started talking, and I was listening to myself in my headphones, and I was like, "Oh, girl, you got a good voice."
That's not too bad.
That's not so right. And then I got to do amazing interviews with people from all around the world, listener phone calls, which is, if you can handle listener phone calls in Los Angeles, you can handle anything. So I did that for a bit. I produced the Roseanne Barr radio show. And again, if I can produce Roseanne Barr for any length of time, I can do anything. That was a very interesting time. Very funny lady, but you don't know what you're going to get with Roseanne. It's like a Cracker Jack box. You just don't know. One day she's there and on air, and the next day it's 5 minutes to the show starting, and I'm like, "Where are you, Roseanne? Where are you?" And she's like, she's at home deep in LA, and she's like, "You do the show." I go, "Where are you?" "I'm drinking wine. I'm at home. You do it." I'm like, it's called the Roseanne Barr show. It's not called the Christine Blosdale show. And she just was like, you do it. And so that's what you had to be prepared for. So radio was a wonderful love of mine for 20 years. And then this thing called podcasting happened. And that was about 9 or 10 years ago. And I thought it was really great because with radio, you do an interview and it's gone. It's over the airwaves. If people are in their car at that moment and they're listening to you, then they catch it. But if not, it's just gone. And so with podcasting, I thought I can do an interview, I can do a show, and it stays around and people can listen to it years down the road. They can listen to it. And that's how I got started with my own podcast. I love it.
That is so freaking amazing. I love that experience. And side note, excellent Roseanne Barr impression. That was absolutely perfect. I imagine
Thank
with
you.
the speaking that you do often and you just work with characters often enough, it seems natural to almost imitate their style a little bit or some of their mannerisms. Do you do other characters as well or other celebrities?
I do a bad John Travolta. And I did John Travolta for John Travolta. So when I worked for America Online, we did all these press junkets, right? And I was on the press junket for one of the worst movies. I think it's called Battlefield Earth. It was so long ago, and I tried to wipe it. I tried to wipe those 2 hours out of my mind when I was in the screening, but it was a horrible movie. But I got to meet somebody that, as a kid, he was like my idol. I didn't want to date John Travolta. I wanted to be John Travolta. Saturday Night Fever, all these great, even The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. I just thought John Travolta was I just loved him. And so when it came time to do this press junket for this really bad movie, all of the journalists sitting around the table were just like they were shell shocked. They didn't know what to ask because it was so bad. And so I said, because I didn't want to talk about the movie, he looked at me. I said, I do an impression of you. And he goes, well, do it. Do it for me. Like that. And I go, okay. And all these journalists, they're all looking at me like I'm a freak. What are you doing? And so I just did that. It's all in the squishy face.
Nailed it.
Sandy. And he laughed his ass off. He was just beside himself. He thought it was the funniest thing to see me doing him. And he was laughing. And a couple of the journalists that were there got it. And then he goes, wait, can I do an impression for you? And I said, yeah. And he did Barbra Streisand. And John Travolta does a really good Barbra Streisand. We were just in our own little bubble, our weird bubble. But I have to find a video of him doing a Barbra Streisand.
At that moment, you had a genuine connection with him. It was seemingly out of place, but John immediately connected with you and said, you know what? I have one to send right back at you, Barbra Streisand.
Yeah. And quick, he was like, oh, I get to bring out my Barbara.
Right. He was like, finally, I have a use case for this.
So we had moments like that with America Online. I remember also meeting Angelina Jolie. I was like, holy moly, who are you? It was when she first started off, it was the Girl Interrupted press junket. And it's a great movie. It's a really phenomenal film. Her and Winona Ryder are in it. And we're all sitting and everybody is just like bedazzled by Angelina. They're like, who is this? And so all of the journalists, all the male journalists too, that are sitting there, they're all drooling and they didn't even know what to ask her. It's kind of like when you see a really pretty woman, you want to say something, but you don't know what to say. So they're all asking these stupid questions and whatever. And I didn't know what to say. And at the time I had a girlfriend and we're laughing. And I go, oh, Angelina, my girlfriend said she would leave me for you or something like that. Stupid. And she looked over and she leaned forward and she looked right in and she goes, I think you're kind of cute. And I was like, what? And I was like,
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. And after that, everybody that was on the round table, all the journalists were just like, you had to say something about your girlfriend. But it was really funny. It was really fun.
That is so incredibly cool. And I love that. I'd asked you just before we started the podcast, I was curious, being in Hollywood, rubbing elbows with a lot of these famous people, do you feel like it changed you at all as a person, either your direction or your morals?
Oh, Hollywood is a cesspool.
Real talk.
It really is. because there's so much money involved, and it's changed since I was in it. Now it's really weird. But there are still some things that are the same, if that makes sense. I think because there's so much emphasis and so much importance placed on it. Now, I've worked in the entertainment industry in all different kinds of, in different aspects. I was even a PA. We call them pissants, but it's a production assistant working for a film company. And you just see how people are treated. And to me, the people that stand out are the people that treat you well no matter who you are or what you do. And I watch that very closely. And I think that's also why I'm such a good coach, because I see everything. I'll go into my client, I'll go into somebody's website, I'll go, this gives me an icky feeling. You're doing right. I don't understand what it is that you're trying to convey here. Or if I'm watching videos and helping people create like TikToks and things like that, I'll see the obvious. And so with Hollywood, you immediately get a hit on who's kind and good and who's not. And sometimes it's the people that you don't think would be. I remember it was a day or two after 9/11. We had a press junket for a film, and I can't even remember what the movie was, but Drew Barrymore was the star. And I remember sitting at this long table, and everybody was very on edge because of 9/11. And she's sitting there, and she broke down, and she started to cry. And she said, I'm sorry. She said, I don't know if I can do this. I feel so ridiculous talking about this movie when all of this is happening. And a lot of people died that day. And so she was really conflicted. She had to contractually, right, do the junket because of so much money that they put into the film. But her heart wasn't in it, and she was really upset. And everybody was just sitting there sort of like staring at her. And I got up and I walked over and I gave her a hug. And she was just so grateful. And with her, I felt that she was genuine and thoughtful and empathic. And there's a few people that I've met that I'm like, you know what? You're a good soul. You're a good person. And then there's a couple that you're just like, I don't want to meet you in a dark alley.
No way.
Do you remember Faye Dunaway? Just look her up. Mommy Dearest, the actress who played Mommy Dearest. And she's actually really good she's a great actress. But their stories, I'll just leave it at that. Google Faye Dunaway.
Oh, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Now, I love the Hollywood aspect, your personal experience, both in the media and broadcasting, but knowing that you're a good person, you're genuine, you're bringing that into your coaching business now, and you're helping other people. Are there specific industries that you work with, or maybe entrepreneurs in certain stages of their business journey?
I work with a lot of coaches and consultants and authors. If they're not an author, if they work with me, they become one, because I'm like, you need a best-selling book. It's all about building your expert authority. So it doesn't matter if you're a plumber or if you're a life coach, or the clients that I have all over the place. I have one client who's very late in life, transitioned. She's transgender, and now she's a transgender coach who helps other people transition, right? And going through all of this stuff. And right now in America, what they're going through, it's very difficult. So she's building up her business. And my whole thing is to take that person and make them the best version that they can be for the outside world, so that when you look at their website or you see them on TikTok or you see something that they've written, you understand exactly what it is that they do. And we build your expert authority. So building your expert authority might be writing a best-selling book. And writing a best-selling book is not that hard. Actually, the system I use is easy, but people think you got to write a big Tom Clancy novel. No, it could be a little tiny book like this. So writing that bestseller, you want to have that. You want to have a media kit, or an EPK, electronic press kit. You want to have something so that when you start promoting your business, who you are, your brand, which is you, that you have something that you can show people. So you can show podcast hosts like yourself. Here's my media kit. Here's some outstanding things that I've accomplished that you might be interested in. Or here's some really great content for your guests, for your audience, that will benefit them. So all those different things, I'll work with clients and help them with their website, help them with their social media, help them get the bestseller, do video recordings, and also train them, get them ready to be a guest on podcast. But more importantly, I love taking my clients and guiding them through the process of creating their own podcast, because having your own podcast is like having a radio station, and you get to beam out all your brilliance, right? All your humor or all your motivation, all if you inspire people, you can get that out to a very large audience, and it's a great tool. It's a great marketing tool. So all of those things I get to do, and I'm very blessed. I love all my people.
I love both the strategy that you implement and how you focus on this is really what's going to help you gain authority and breaking down those barriers, understanding it's not that difficult. It seems intimidating because it seems quite important to have a best-selling title added to your book. But I think entrepreneurs have that difficulty looking inwards on themselves and finding the positives and all the great things that they've been doing. And we need that outside perspective to help pull it out sometimes.
Well, it's hard for us to think of ourselves as a brand, but we are a brand. Unless you're a product, right? Unless you're a coffee cup. Okay, a coffee cup, I can say this is the greatest coffee cup in the world because of this and the other. But sometimes it's hard for entrepreneurs to turn that inward and go, I am actually a brand. You are. Because if you want people to invest time and money in working with you, you need to convey what kind of a person you are. Are you trustworthy? Are you reliable? Do you actually deliver what you say you're going to deliver? So I'll go through my clients. They'll say, I want to get new clients myself and I want to get more money. And I'll go to their website and I say, where's your testimonials? Where's your reviews? Well, I've worked with people before, but where are they? Because you can tell me all day long how great you are and how amazing you are and what great results you get. But that's you telling me and the outside world. It's so much more powerful when someone else says, Christine is amazing. You got to work with her. That is gold. And if you get the opportunity to put those testimonials and reviews and things on your website, on your social media, blare it out wherever, it increases your expert authority-ness. And I'll make sure that you have that link as well. It's really easy. It's a free quiz people can take on how to rate their expert authority, no matter what field you're in. So you can basically take this quiz and you'll get a scorecard. And at the end, you'll see where you rate on your expert authority-ness. And it's expertauthorityquiz.com. They can go check it out there. And it's actually fun to take. It's very good because it's asking you the questions that you should be asking yourself as a business owner or entrepreneur. It's a fun quiz to take.
I love that. And we'll have the links available down in the description in the show notes. And there is one more link as well, ChristineBlosdale.com, where they can connect with you directly as well. Are there any other social media channels you like people to connect with you?
Yeah, and actually they can go to expertauthoritycoach.com. That's even easier than spelling out my name. Expertauthoritycoach.com is the website to find out all about me, and they can book a free strategy session if they want to talk about their business, if they want to write a book, if they want to create a better website. They can contact me there. And social media, you know what? My favorite thing is TikTok. I love TikTok. I love creating videos on TikTok. So they can just find me at TikTok at Christine. They can look up Christine Blosdale or Expert Authority Coach.
I love that. I have a couple more questions if you still have the time. Wanted to ask, we're about starting Q2 in 2025. What are you excited most for in 2025? Are you launching anything new? Are you just amplifying what's already working for you?
I am always a work in progress. And I try and tell people that I work with, you're never at the finish line. You never stick a fork in it. I'm done. That's great. I'm constantly zhuzhing up, revamping, looking at my brand, looking at my message. I love AI, and I use quite a few different AI tools in my business for processing videos and all that great stuff, and for some content as well. So I feel that this year I'm going to dive in even deeper into using some different AI tools. And I really want to empower the people that I work with on how to generate income and do it in multiple different ways. Because as we know, life is uncertain and you think you got it nailed down and then life throws you a curveball. And what we see now, stock market and all topsy-turvy, we really need to rely on ourselves and our own creativity. So I really want to amp that up with the people that I work with and showing them how they can earn a good living, not just make enough to get by, but actually earn a really good living doing what they're passionate about. So that's what I want. And I would love to do more group sessions as well. I have a group mastermind that we meet every other week, and I love that. I love the group hive mentality. One-on-ones, they're great, but I also like that small group, very supportive energy that you can gather. So I'm hoping to do more of the group stuff as well.
I love that. And there's something to be said about getting a group of like-minded individuals together and just start really sparking off ideas and creating this conversation with each other. And I agree now more than ever, just with the uncertainty of the world, we need to consider this might be another time that we have to pivot. For example, some drop shippers are going to be impacted with tariffs or just different changes within the business model and maybe demand that we'll kind of see as things play out here. But it's something that we as business owners need to stay on top of. I did want to ask, through all your years of experience, is there one trait or quality you think like a successful entrepreneur has that other people don't? What makes them different and being able to succeed versus others who kind of fall flat?
I think it's that hope mentality. And I was very lucky to be raised in America, in California, and by a group of people, my family, who were very supportive ever since I was little and who told me, you can do anything, Christine. You're so talented. They were always positive. And so for those people out there who did not have that growing up, you need to be that mentor, that grandparent that you didn't have. And you need to be giving those mantras to yourself that you can do so much more than you could even imagine, and to not limit yourself by where you live or how much you have in your bank account. That's so important. But I do think that a lot of entrepreneurs who are successful, no matter what happens around them, they have that hope and that drive. You got to take action, because if you just sit and wish, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to write a book, one day I'm going to create a podcast, one day doesn't happen. It's when you actually say, that's it. Today's the day. I've marked off everything on my calendar. Nobody's home today, so I can just focus on creating XYZ, whatever it is. And so that's the thing. You got to take action. Hope is great, but you got to take action with it.
I agree. Absolutely. We need something to look forward to, that light at the end of the tunnel, that end result and dream that we're looking for. That's the hope. But it's that action piece that, unless we're the dream without inaction, unfortunately, that doesn't make a great business plan.
No, it doesn't.
Christine, I would love to have you on for an additional future episode if you're open to it. I feel like
Absolutely.
for hours. This is incredible.
I know. I feel like I've got my doppelganger, Christine.
Christine, yes.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, the Christine podcast.
There you
Chris
go.
Squared.
I'd love to. Absolutely super honored to come back on the show. Thank you.
I would love that. Absolutely. Christine, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your tips and wisdom, your journey with us. For those who are interested, make sure you check out the description down below and get connected with Christine. Appreciate everything you've done, the fact that you're keeping such a genuine, kind-hearted, honest attitude going forward, just for you as a person and the work that you're doing as well. Keep that up. I really appreciate it.
Love.
Absolutely.
And continued success with your podcast and whatever you're doing. Reach out to me, because we got to do some co-ventures together.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
Christine.
Thank you, love. Thank you.